Formerly beloved creator Boogie2988 does not have cancer. I mean, well, we think he doesn't have cancer. Well, he doesn't know if he has cancer or not. This is a big one, so just strap in. All right, so if you didn't know about Boogie2988 is a gigantic fat guy who ended up losing weight and then turning into a lol cow over a long period of time. He's a big fella. That's what I know him as. And then he also has a girlfriend that's in the Arrested Development. She's like 18 or 19. She's a youngin', and Boogie is definitely over the hill. And who knows, maybe he could drop dead any day now at his size and being a maybe person who has cancer or not. But yeah, because of this and because of Boogie's money problems, for example, the fact that he lost a shit ton of money in crypto, Boogie has decided to turn around and make his own crypto coin. Now, it was called Fatty Coin, and it was by definition, in my opinion, a Ponzi scheme. So, you know, like a Ponzi scheme, he was like the first in, he had a lot of the liquidity of the token, and then a bunch of people bought in, raised the price of the token, and then the token price just crashed to the ground. Ergo, he sells his coins and he makes a shitload of money.
Hey, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Good. See, that's somebody that gets the fatty lifestyle. Do nothing and you'll be nothing. And that's the way you want to be. I see that a lot of you bought my coin because you want to be a broke, fat fuck like me. Well, guess what? I'm going to give you your first challenge. If you're holding my coin, your coin's value just went up. I had my team burn 50 million tokens. That way you have to work even harder to be a broke, fat fuck like me. A lot of people wanted to know how much coin I'm holding. 2% of the coin belongs to me. And people ask me, why didn't you sell it at the top? The answer is simple. I'm riding it to zero, baby! Yeah, just like I did with Ethereum when it dropped, just like I did when I invested in storage, just like I did when I invested in Uni. Because I don't give a shit what color your Bugatti is. I just want to know when they repossessed it.
He made something around 10K based on the conversations I'm hearing, but it was by no means enough to cover his insurmountable woes of cancer treatments and various other ailments and spending habits. The Fatty Coin stuff was bad enough. It ended up costing people a lot of money, all in Boogie's name, and then Boogie turned around and had an interview with CoffeeZilla. To keep things short for this video, Coffee basically grilled him on this, and the gist of it is that, well, Boogie did this because he has cancer and he needs to do something to make money. Now, you'd be thinking, why didn't Boogie do like a GoFundMe or some other way for people to donate to help him with his problems? I'm sure a lot of people have experienced cancer or either lived with someone with cancer or lost someone to cancer. I myself included have lost someone to cancer, breast cancer in particular. So, you know, I definitely understand that it's a huge struggle. Going to chemo is a bitch. You know, your body gets weak and you struggle to do things that you were able to do before. Vomiting, sick, all that all the time. Well, Boogie had this very rare form of cancer, something that couldn't be treated, but you treat the symptoms of it. Polycythemia vera. It's a blood cancer, so you treat the symptoms of this cancer, and you know, Bob's your uncle, you live with it. Now, the life expectancy of this cancer is actually really high, with an average life expectancy of 77, of which the average life expectancy of an American male is 76. So, in this case, it would add a year to Boogie's fat ass, but this also was happening simultaneously as a Lolcow Live was going on. Now, Lolcow Live is a podcast hosted by Keemstar and Tommy C, along with Wings of Redemption, another fat guy, and Boogie2988, the fat guy in question. Now, basically, the entire podcast was based around this whole Fatty Coin drama, drumming up a conversation about whether or not this cancer is legitimate or not. I mean, for example, if the GoFundMe was legitimate, it would have been towards cancer treatment. But if Boogie doesn't have cancer, well, then people are going to start asking for their money back from the GoFundMe, of which he would have to provide. But with the cryptocurrency, he doesn't really have to do that. Now, the conversation was basically them grilling Boogie over whether or not he had cancer, and he started fumbling over his words in the entire thing. The dude was basically like, I do have cancer, but I'm not going to tell you or prove it to you in any way, shape, or form. which started to make people question, maybe this guy's lying, maybe he's faking it. Now, there had been some drummed up discussion behind the scenes prior to this. You see Turkey Tom hopped on a Destiny stream, they spoke about Boogie, and Destiny started researching the type of cancer that Boogie may or may not have, which led Destiny to the conclusion, in theory, that either 1, Boogie never got diagnosed with cancer, or 2, he doesn't have cancer in the first place. And when Destiny brought this up, Boogie basically said, I'm not going to share this with you, you're being mean. Now, what's funny is that behind the scenes, he had a conversation with Nicholas Diorio, and Diorio basically levied a, oh, well, if you prove you have cancer to Destiny, they'll give money to it, yada yada. And Boogie was seeming agreeable at that point. But now that he was getting grilled on stream, he was not having it. Anyway, this argument escalates so much, Destiny ends up saying, I will start to pay for that. I will give you $5 grand if you show me, not the public, just me, in private, your medical papers to confirm that you do have cancer. Because right now, it seems like you're scamming people using sympathy. And, well, Boogie said no. Over the course of the stream, people kept raising the pot. It got all the way up to 80 grand. Yep, that's right. The internet collectively said they would pay $80,000 to reveal what Boogie was hiding, to show that he has cancer. Now, 80 grand not only would probably cover the entire cost of his medical bills, but it would also cover the cost of his mortgage, or basically almost get him all the way there. This is such a life-changing amount of money, and all Boogie does is have to show someone in private that he has cancer. Not in public, in private. You don't even need to tell the internet. People will just say, Boogie showed us, he's telling the truth. But Boogie said, no, I don't even want to do that.
Here's the thing, because I did a stream, because I had people saying, oh, you're faking cancer, Jim. So I showed my diagnoses and stuff like that. I'm going to guess he's working on a system similar to Epic, which most medical people do. Mm-hmm. You should be able to go right into diagnoses, and it's going to list everything that a doctor has ever said you had.
Yep, I just read it to him.
Okay, and so it lists the cancer there?
Yes.
Okay, so you could screen cap that and just show it. I mean, that's what I did, and then that would be the end of it.
Absolutely. And I made the decision 2 years ago that I would not do that, and I would rather leave the internet than to give the last shred of fucking privacy I have left.
Here's the thing. I understand the privacy argument. Mm-hmm.
I should have never went public with it.
No. Let me finish. I mean, you can redact information. There's no issue with that. But just showing, it literally is just a page that says patient diagnoses.
Yep.
And then it lists what you have. It doesn't tell you who the doctor is. It doesn't tell you what hospital you go to. It literally just says the disease name.
And I won't be doing that.
But I don't understand why not.
Because he doesn't have cancer. He does have cancer.
Yeah, that's going to be the narrative they'll go with. So that's
I'm legit trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. When I shit on you for the crypto thing, man, I said I'd take your word that you had cancer. I'd take your word that the medical shit's expensive.
Yep.
So this seems like
I spent 2 years treating a disease that doesn't exist. These people used to be my friends, and I genuinely would have never believed it would even come to this. And I'm just
now, I'm certain we're all normal, well-adjusted people here, or at least seemingly well-adjusted. And I would ask you a question, dear audience, dear internet, dear little guys. If somebody offered you 80 grand and all you had to do was show them that you were sick with the disease you claim to have, would you not do it? Assuming you're telling the truth, right? Why wouldn't you want this opportunity? There's nothing but gains for you in this situation. You would have to be an overwhelming moron to say no to this thing. Or well, the alternative is that you'd have to be lying. And, well, yeah, it does seem that way. They ended up bringing on Jim, Mr. Medicare, to chastise Boogie as well. Medicare was actually very kind to him for a large majority of the conversation. It's kind of surprising considering that Medicare was blasting him earlier. But as the conversation went on, Medicare definitely got more antagonistic with Boogie, and rightfully so. Medicare does have cancer, and it's real, and Boogie seems to claim that he has it, but will not share it. What was really funny is that Boogie compared Medicare's and his cancer, and Boogie called his cancer the Animal Crossing starter pack of cancers, which I don't know why, but that annoyed me, right? To be like, well, you know, your cancer is like the real cancer. My cancer is like cancer diet.
They're very different.
Starter? Did you say starter kit? Like you haven't started having cancer?
No, it's like it's like the tutorial version of cancer.
What he's
Does
saying
that make
is,
sense?
the
It's the
pilot
easy
said-
one.
pilot
If you're going to
said
get one, this is the one you want to get.
You can live forever on this thing. It rarely kills people. before
It's
they die
not the
naturally.
Dark Souls of cancer. That's
No,
right.
yeah,
So
yeah,
this
yeah,
would be.
It's the Animal Crossing of cancer. You have the Dark Souls of cancer. Yeah.
No, I'm not even close. So,
You either have cancer or you don't. There are not degrees of cancer. You either have cancer or you don't. Like, that is the conversation at hand here. We aren't discussing how severe it is or how, like, disabled or dysfunctional you are as an adult. Well, Boogie did try using that as a way to get out of this. You know, he was domestically abused when he was younger. All right, great. That didn't get us off the topic of this cancer or not.
I've told one of these guys this in private. I'm not entirely certain. My very first girlfriend was physically abusive to me. And so as part of my childhood, when we were 16, 17 years old, because she would hit me and stuff, I ended up holding her down. I ended up pinning her against the wall to make her stop hurting me and hurting herself. And I've carried tremendous guilt about it for my entire life. And I know as soon as I ever said that, it would mean that people would think I beat women. And so I've held it in.
I literally
no
don't
sense.
care. Nobody cares about that right now.
Thank you.
Anyway, long story short, Boogie suicide baited on stream and eventually left, which was also very pathetic and terrible and just really shitty as a person. Because, you know, for all it's worth, right? I don't know about Tommy C and Wings. Maybe they didn't really they're like, all right, whatever, Boogie's gonna be fine, right? Keem is actually kind of an empathetic person when it comes to those things. And from what I know, the guy was trying to get in contact with Boogie after this happened to make sure that Boogie didn't, you know, go boogie down for the final time. And ultimately it did turn out that Boogie was safe and okay and healthy. Healthy as in alive, but not healthy as in cancer-free. Or maybe he is cancer-free. We don't actually know. But yeah, so Keem spent a lot of time trying to make sure that Boogie was chill. Anyway, lo and behold, today rolls around, and this tweet comes out from Keemstar, of all people. And it reads as follows. Boogie2988, fake cancer drama. To the best of my knowledge, based on everything I know. Boogie went on steroids that could cause cancer in the blood years ago, and was warned of the dangers. 2 years ago, after he lost all his money in crypto, he went to the doctor and had high red blood cells, indicating he may have blood cancer. Before he got any confirmation, he rushed to make a YouTube video announcing he had cancer. 2 years ago, he still doesn't have confirmation he has cancer, but he's been telling everyone he does and used it for sympathy multiple times. Whether it was promoting his crypto scam or asking people to financially support him lying about cancer could have been considered fraud. He is scheduled to get a confirmation test to see if he 100% has cancer soon. So ironically, even though he lied, he may still have cancer. Whole thing is sad as hell. You know, literally the worst, but also the best of both worlds in some way. Okay, me personally, chat, I'm speaking to chat like I have this live, but I'm recording this. Anyway, chat, speaking of, I've ran out of sympathy for Boogie. I understand, you know, Boogie's a fat guy. I was a former fat guy. I understand, you know, the struggles with eating disorders and body dysmorphia and all of that. You know, I've even said it. I got anxiety, right? That's a thing that I struggle with. I have my own personal struggles. I keep a lot of my struggles to myself, but, you know, for the sake of understanding, I do understand where Boogie is coming from in some of these cases. What's irritating is that Boogie has repeatedly used these things as a crutch for himself. And at a certain point, you gotta be able to be the kind of person who picks yourself up and says, listen, my past is my past, but I'm not defined by it. Boogie routinely, all the time, uses his past to define himself in the present, which is stupid, and he'd even admit as such. But ultimately, I think he doesn't care, because he understands that the only way he's going to make money these days is through the sympathy of others, and people like me saying, I understand, Boogie, here's money, when in reality, you can't do that, because he's somebody who would abuse people's goodwill in order to get money from them, which is what happened here, which is what happened with Fatty Coin. That was a blatant attempt just to garner sympathy and then rip that sympathy apart as you take the payday at the end of it. So it's really frustrating to see that, and I honestly think that's very disgusting. That's honestly the kind of stuff, those kind of people that talk about how medically ill they are or how dysfunctional their lives are. So, hey, can you give me money? Those are the kind of things that I don't like. You got to be taking active steps to make better in your life for me to also understand where you're coming from. Maybe I'm a bit cold, maybe I'm getting old, but I just couldn't muster up the care. Now, Boogie, as we see from the Keemstar tweet, may actually not have had cancer this entire time and lied through his own stupidity. Either that, or he does have cancer, still lied anyway, and now people will see him as a liar, but then he also has cancer. So really, there's no way to get out of that. I don't really know what the best outcome is there, right? Because now either it is that he has cancer or he doesn't have cancer, but needless to say, he still sat around and told people he had cancer, knowing that he didn't know he had cancer or not. So it's definitely been one hell of a drama. I plan on streaming about this later, but I wanted to get a little something out now about just the basics of what's happened. So take care, be well, and make sure to get your annual checkups, both men, women, and in between, and be well.